Okay, well, hi everybody. Today is a very exciting day. I don't know how I almost forgot the date. It's Thursday, February 18th, 2016, and it's a very exciting day because my baby nephew Elliott was born this morning at 8 o'clock. It makes me cry just thinking about it. He was nearly 9 pounds, a little bruiser, so this was a very, very exciting day for our family and makes me even more excited to kick off what we're doing tonight. And I want to, as I always do, thank everybody for joining me tonight and certainly joining all of us for this experience we're about to embark on. As of tonight, I think, in fact, when Kaya, when you were just on, I think my numbers are even outdated. When we looked at about 5 minutes ago, we actually have 857 people enrolled. So we're literally getting about a person every 10 minutes. We gained over 200 people since the last time we met 10 days ago. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be at the, well, I shouldn't say pretty sure because who knows, but I think we'll be hovering around 900 by the time Monday rolls around. So that's pretty exciting. So as I mentioned, as we're starting this discussion tonight before we turn the recording on, really don't have a lot of things to cover, more cleanup things, some updates of things that have happened. In the course, we had some really great feedback from a few folks on the modules, and we made some streamlining changes in Module 2, which we'll talk about. And then I firmed up the dates for our live webcast sessions, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And then we'll conclude, as always, it cracks me up, with our homework. So just some things that I want everybody to have a chance to do before we kick things off. So with that, I'm going to open up the mics if anybody wanted to ask any particular questions. I know Kaya was having trouble logging on, and we worked through that before we turned the recording on, but did anybody have anything they'd like to bring up before we start?
This is Lisi. Yes. Should we participate in discussions and add our profile?
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll talk about that in a second. I'll give you some heads up on how to do that. But yep, please do. And we'll get to that in just a second. Okay. Okay, so let's just jump right in as far as setting up the dates for the live webinars. We touched on this last week as tentative dates, and I went ahead and firmed it up. So what's going to happen on Monday, where I'm going to have, I've got it all queued up in the announcement section. It will go out as a blast to all the participants, welcoming them to the class, giving them initial guidance on here's where you should start. This is a self-guided course, yada, yada. You can go in and read it right now. In fact, if you want to, it's in the announcement tab. And then what I just ask everybody to do is work on what I'm calling the homework. It's the last slide that we'll talk about tonight. But then also just to get on your calendars, if you could mark these dates down, and we don't all have to be there at every one. In fact, I think we're going to be using, for all of the sessions, we can't use Zoom because we don't have enough seats on Zoom to accommodate all the participants. So we're going to have to use Google Hangouts on Air, which only allows, I believe it's 10 speakers broadcasting to an unlimited number of people through the stream. And so what I've done is I've set up, yeah, it might be 12, you're right, 12 plus 1. Okay, I think there might be a way that we can finagle a couple more on. I think that's why I put 10-ish there. JR, great, good point on that. So if you're interested and able, a week from tonight, Thursday the 25th will be our first session. And so if you go ahead and click on that Google form link, that's it should be a hyperlink to the PDF. I put the PDF in the chat room. If you didn't get a copy of it, you can scroll up to the top and get that. So if you click on that hyperlink, it'll take you over to a sign-up form if you're able to join next Thursday. And so it'd be great if we could get, 3 or 4 SMEs, 3 or 4 facilitators, and myself is kind of a nice number. Any more than that, it might get a little crazy. And hopefully by that point, we will have started to get a few questions in the help areas on our in our chat areas in the asynchronous discussion forums, and we can address those. But it'll mainly be a welcome to the course, address any questions that come out. We'll cap it to about an hour, and then we'll post the recordings after the session. And so what I've set up within the course, if you look on this screen under the modules tab, when people go to the top of that they'll see the help in the chat forum. So those are the asynchronous forums where they can go and ask questions about project-specific stuff would go to the Ask a Subject Matter Expert. The other stuff that's just general, I'm stuck, I need, I don't even know what to do yet, that would go to the Help area. They would click on those. And then to be able to access the stream as well as any of the recordings, they would go to the live webcasts and recording section. And that's actually when the live stream is being broadcast on the Google Hangouts on Air, we'll embed that within that page, and that's how they'll find the stream. And let's see, please send the link to us on the next meeting. Okay. Oh, okay. It should be, I think you were asking for this, I believe. Let me get you that. Let's see if I can open it real quick. So I think, so Lacey, do you mean the sign-up form? That's the sign-up form. And then as far as where you'll go, again, let me hop back over to my, here. Sorry about that. And then as far as where you'll go to actually, if you want to watch the stream, you'll go to the course and go to that page, the live webcast page. And then Camille, you were asking, do we have a note of the number of non-US enrollees? I don't think I have a way to do that, Camille. In fact, we get pretty limited information in terms of who is enrolled. There is a survey that Canvas starts at the beginning of the class. It's an optional survey, and we may be able to collect some of that information, demographic data there. But really, it's pretty limited. When you sign up for the course, all you really have to do is give an email and a name. And I think from what I've seen from the names people are giving, it doesn't even look like everyone's giving a real name. I would say about 95% are, but then some are giving kind of funky names that don't look like their email address. So doesn't look like I'm immediately able to do that, but we'll keep working on it. All right. And then as far as Canvas access, hopefully everybody has received their invitation. However, we have a couple people who haven't logged in yet. I can tell who's logged in. So if that's because you can't find your invitation or whatever, just please contact me right away. Or if you just haven't had a chance to, please do that over the weekend. I'd appreciate that. And then please update your profile in Canvas, and we'll talk about that on the next slide. And as always, please don't edit anything. I mention that almost every time. And like I said, we had a tremendous amount of feedback. Amanda Duffy hit me up with literally pages and pages of little tweaks here and there or throughout the course. And I made some what I think to be nice enhancements to clean things up. So I would really appreciate it that you do the same as you're going through it if you see things that are weird. And also, one thing I didn't mention yet in prior webcasts is that the Canvas apps are really pretty good. So if you have a tablet or a larger size scale phone, it's really a nice way to move through the course material. Given this is such a text-heavy content, it really lays out very nicely on a tablet, and you can kind of swing through it a lot easier than you can on a laptop when you're looking at it on a browser. So you may want to download the apps if you have access to a tablet. So I think someone was asking this question before, how to update your profile and your notifications. Let's see. Oh yeah, JR is saying he did the training course on the iPad. Yeah, I think it's great for viewing. I think it's actually superior. I wish that the browser-based Canvas worked that same way. It's easy to flip through the pages. So when you're in your when you're logged onto Canvas, if you, and Kay and I were laughing about this before, to get to this screen, you literally click on your face. So, or if you haven't set up your profile with your face, you just go over to the left side where it says account and click on that, and it will bring up this menu, which allows you to change your profile as well as to change your notification preferences. And I bring up notification preferences because I've signed up for several Canvas MOOCs, and if you don't change your notifications, you probably will be getting everything that's posted on the course, which will drive you insane because you'll just get email after email after email when anybody works on anything. So you'll want to probably pretty quickly, once the course starts, go into notifications and change it to your preferences in terms of how often you're updated via email when things happen in the course. And so once you're in that area where I mentioned you can change your profile, you can change your picture, and then you also have the ability to change your registered services, which is a funny way to talk about your social media accounts. And so I added Twitter and I added my LinkedIn as ways for people to contact me. And so once you change that within your registered services, you have the ability to check it. And then you can update your bio and add any websites. I have a professional portfolio that I've linked people to, and maybe that's something you would want to do as well. So I'm going to take a pause real quick and make sure I've answered all the questions. So Lisi's saying, I've added the profile info, just wondering if I should be dipping into discussions. Yeah, we definitely want you to dip into discussions and keep track. And so let's talk about that a little bit. Let's see. So we talked a little bit last week as far as how these discussions will be working and how I'm viewing them. So I'm really looking as this is kind of a twisty line getting students from point A to point B through the course. We know some people are just going to beeline it right to the end and they're not going to pay attention to what we've set up for them in earlier modules, and they'll kind of cut right to the chase. And what are we going to do? That we purposely did not shut off modules with prerequisites or anything like that. So that could easily happen. So to answer your question, Lisi, the way we've set it up is for the peak activity weeks where we're assuming people will be at these milestones, we've set up facilitator leads and SME, subject matter experts. And so as you can see, you're set up for kind of that March 21st to April 10th. That should be probably pretty much when folks will be approaching your modules that you're working on, modules 3 and module 4. But certainly you're more than welcome to contribute to any of the discussions that are happening in other modules. It's just that we want to make sure we have 100%, someone is keeping 100% focus on the weeks that they're assigned. And then for the other modules, go ahead and participate. So my question has to do with the instructions to participants to introduce themselves. Yeah. Okay, so that's in module 0. So starting next week, please do. Yeah, if you want to go through, and I think you're talking about the module 0 introduction of the class, right? Yeah, please do. Yeah, go ahead and post your introduction, and feel free to respond to students as they post. And I don't know if we'll see any questions necessarily there, but certainly people will probably be talking about their interests in adult education or whatever it might be. So feel free to strike up a conversation as you feel like. And again, I think this is going to be a huge fire hose, I'm assuming, of information. And there's just, it's not necessary, and I don't think we need to respond to every single student who posts anything within the discussion boards. But as much as possible, if we could try to strike up a community within this, that should be our goal. So the more hands on deck, the better. And so did I answer your question, Lacey? Okay, great. So that kind of concludes. Oh, I did want to mention, okay, here's where I do have things crossed out here. So if you'll notice in module 2, and this is particular to JR, Colleen, and Annalise, I thought long and hard. That module 2 was just too long. It had some great content, but it was just kind of running long. And so what we eliminated was one of the activities. Instead of making it something that they're going to discuss as a group, I've just turned it into an exercise and given them kind of sample responses. And so it'll cut back a little bit of the content in that module and then also eliminate that discussion. So we won't have that. If you notice, module 2 had 2 different discussions, and it just was, like I said, running a little bit long. So we got rid of that. So that then effectively, moved Annalise down to the next week. Okay, any questions on that? Otherwise, the facilitation is pretty much as we talked about from the prior week. And again, if you have any questions on how to find the discussion forums, an easy way to do it, if you click on the assignments tab, you can toggle, if you notice to the right side there, it says date or type. If you toggle to the type, you'll be able to see discussions, and then you can find your week and then go directly to it. That's one quick way to do it. And then the last thing I really want to talk about before I kind of conclude my comments for the night is the evaluation. So this will happen in Module 6 around the mid-April timeframe. And I have committed within the course, or we have committed within the course, to give feedback to everybody who submits a prototype. Now, I don't have a crystal ball and no one else here does as well, but we're starting with, let's say, 900 students. I can't imagine by the time we get to week 6 that we'll have any more than 100 that are participating. I think that would be actually phenomenal if we get 100 people. So I don't think we're going to have a huge task if we commit to doing that. I'm thinking the number is probably still going to be more around 50 or 60 that will actually turn in prototypes. And, you know, I hope I'm proved wrong, but I think that's probably what we'll see. So if you would do me a huge favor and go through and read Module 6 pretty closely to see what's being asked of both the students to give peer reviews, and then also that would apply then to what you'll be doing. And so the way the evaluation works, the students will turn in their prototypes in Module 5, and I will be able to see a roster of that because they're turning that in as a reflection. So I'll have all the URLs, and this will be something that they complete within OER Commons. So we'll have the URL to their module that they've created. And then we will, within OER Commons, this is what that screen looks like. This is the OER Commons screen. So for every resource, it has a unique URL, so that's the item number 1. And then all we'll do to evaluate it is click the evaluate feature, which is the bullet, or the red 2. And then that will launch a window that looks like this. And so you'll go in and you'll click the Achieve rubrics, which is the number 3 there. And then the button number 4 where it says Start Evaluating. And it's just a walkthrough. You'll just click a little radio dial that responds to the prompts. And this will all make a lot more sense if you spend about, I think it's about a 5-minute video, and read the YouTube video. I'm sorry, view the YouTube video on how to do the evaluations. And I don't know, JR, if you have any comments here. I know you've spent some time playing around with this. It's really very self-explanatory, and allows you to make an evaluation as a numeric choice, and then also to add comments. And all of this information, as I mentioned, is all within the Canvas course. So all these screenshots that I have here are actually just pulling back what's available within Module 6. So any other questions on the evaluation? It's pretty straightforward. Again, this is at the point they've done their prototype. We're just offering them feedback, and the students will also be giving peer-to-peer feedback at this point as well. So hopefully everybody who submits a prototype will have at least a couple people offering them feedback that they'll then make their final revisions before they turn in their final deliverables. And that's pretty much all I had. Does anybody, let's see, are we allowed to post optional resources? Yeah, okay, so Camille, do you mean within the evaluation piece? Did you have your microphone, Camille? I don't know if if it's a longer question, then I'm in general. Oh, okay, got it. Okay, so are we allowed to post optional resources? So what would that be? Do you want me to set up a separate, okay, let's think how we could do this. Is this something you'd like me to set up as like a Digo thing? Because we do have Digo social media. Sorry, social bookmarking.
So, okay, she's sleeping right next to me. I'm trying not to talk.
Sorry.
It's okay. So if somebody asks a question, I know, and the course doesn't have a resource that they can use, and I am aware of something that they can use to help get them to a point, is there an area I can post, like in a discussion forum where I can say what the resource is, what's the best way to use the resource, and then give them a link to it or something like that? Or even if a student has another resource, they can reply and post in that area. I put that in my courses all the time.
Okay.
Because sometimes in your courses you don't have all the tools you need.
Yep, I like
but
it.
You don't need it to be a compulsory or something, that you're shoving down someone's throat.
Sure.
It's just optional. If they want to use it, they use it. If they don't, they don't.
Let's do that then. Let's do that. I'll set up a shared resources. If I set it up as a discussion board, does that work for you? Because what we did, let me pop over, because I like the idea, and I usually do it to what you're talking about, and I'll show you what we also have. Let's see, let me stop sharing this. And then I will share. Let me go back to my, oops. Okay, I don't know what you can see there. Let me see if I can go to Google here. So let me go into the course real quick. So we do have, and it's kind of buried, and I don't even know if people are going to take advantage of it, but let me just show you. Let's see. Where did I put it? I don't even know if it's here. You know what? If it's so buried that I can't find it, they're never going to find it. But anyway, I won't bother taking the time right now. But we have a place where we told them about Digo, you know, the social bookmarking site. We also then have a place within JR's section to share, but I like it. Anyway, long story short, I'm rambling now. So I'll go ahead and put together a discussion. How about if we stick it up in, should we put it in this help and chat forum? Put a shared resources file? Can you see my screen here? Does that work?
Yeah, I think that would be a good area. And to answer Lisi's question, it is about giving participants specific suggestions also, but it's also suggestions that can help anyone who's in the course. So you don't just want it to be just to that student alone, but you can tell them I added a resource. So like if I get, we've been talking about the learning battle cards. The guys have been working, they've been trying to get pictures of the cards to share, and they're willing to do that. If it works out, I don't want it to be pushed on to people. I'll just say, hey, you can think of these cards and go in that resource and they can reference it there if they need to. If they don't want to use it, they don't want to use it.
Right. Yeah. And then I think Lisa was asking, are you asking about giving participants specific suggestions to their developed resources? I think there's a couple places. So I think what you're talking about, Camille, is more just kind of ad hoc as it comes up, not necessarily wouldn't have to be associated with somebody's project, but as the students are working through the course, there may be opportunities within a module or ask a subject matter expert where they're asking a question that the resource would be shared as well. Right. So it's kind of like, it could be in a couple places.
Yeah.
It could end up being, but I see what you're saying. And I've wondered that too. So if you have a resource that you want to share, but it's not necessarily answering someone's direct question about their project, but it's something that everybody could benefit from, just a place to put it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll do that. I'll add that. That's a great suggestion. Okay. And I'm pretty much done. That's pretty much all I had. Let me go back to my, did anybody have anything else that they wanted to bring up, or anything that's unclear at this point going into our big week next week? So what we've got starting on Monday, let's just, I guess we're kind of running out of gas. No one else had any thoughts either. Just look for the course to open on Monday to everybody, and start participating in the introduction forums. And if you could fill out that, or let me know on that sign-up sheet if you're able to join me on the 25th, I'd appreciate it. And then keep an eye out for what's going to be happening in the Module 6 as far as the evaluations, in addition to what you're doing in your assigned week.
Jennifer, when you're done, I have a question.
Sure. Lisa, please email us that homework. I don't know what that means.
This page, I think she means this page.
Okay, so do you have, Lisa, let me try to find a reel here. There you go.
JR put something.
There, you got it? Good, thank you. Okay, yeah, go ahead. So I guess that concludes our our thing. I'll answer Kay's question. I think you wanted to hop over to the thing. Does anybody else have anything else? Otherwise, I think we're done. All right, thanks everybody. Have a great weekend. I'm going to turn the recording off.
Yeah.